So to give you a quicker explanation of cascading style sheets, there is an item within your assignments called cascading style sheets that gives you the basics of what this means, what its difference from HTML is. HTML is what we use to build the page. CSS is what we use to style the page. What we mean by styling is decoration. How do we use colors? How do we tell it to align in the center, to the left, and to the right? And there are many ways that we can change and style the text in our pages. We will be using a couple of them to at least bring the pages that we already are using, or we have already published, bring them to a more modern feel, more decorated feel. I'm going to give you a quick demonstration using CodePen. I'm going to go to my CodePen page and create a new pen. I'll just tell it to, well, I could either log in or I could start coding. I won't be saving this. If you see that all of your squares are horizontal like this, you can change the view to be vertical like that. I like this a little bit better, maybe whatever works for you best. I'm going to minimize the JavaScript, and I'm going to give myself a little bit more CSS and about equal size of HTML. In the content, after telling you that what we could do, the first things that we can start to do to make your HTML look awesome, it's just to figure out what changes we want to happen. So let's, I'm going to start with a basic page here and just a code. I'll just have a paragraph that will close right away. So I do a bracket, angle bracket, P for paragraph, and then close it with the /P. And just type something simple. Something that I used to type a lot for my typing class. Now it's time for all the men and women to come to the aid of their country. And I just get a paragraph here on the side. Just to give myself a little bit more text, I will copy that same thing a couple of times, and then I'll copy the whole thing with the code and get me a second paragraph. Maybe the second one is not as long. It's up to you. It's just, just a sample. So now that I have my paragraph, and maybe at the very top I can say, hey, why don't you have a header that says this is a sample. Close the heading with my angle bracket /H1, and now I have a super simple page. In the lesson, we tell you that if we want the text of our paragraphs to be blue, we basically tell it in CSS to take a look at the selector here, which is the letter P for paragraph. Refers to the paragraph tag in HTML. Then we can say, hey, change the color to blue. That is going to make the color blue. It's a style property. And then change the family to something else like Arial. So let's see what that means. Why don't I just copy this straight off the sample there? You could also type it. And I've added a P for paragraph, color is blue, and that is something that can be changed at any time. And the font family is Arial. Notice how the font, that is the text style, is different in the paragraph than it is in the H1. The H1 has little feet at the end. Notice the letter T has feet at the end. So does the letter P. The text at the bottom is a little bit more straightforward. It's Arial. We could change this from another family, like Times New Roman, and that changes it to a more basic style. We could say we want the color to be red, and that'll change it immediately. And all of this is happening exclusively to the paragraph. Notice that the H1 never changed. If I add the code for the H1, I would say H1, open up a curly brace, and then here make separate changes. Why don't I do the same thing that I did before? I'll change the color to something else. Color, colon, blue. Very important, at the end of the line, semicolon. That means that's the end of the line, in case you wanted to make additional changes. What if you wanted it to be all centered as opposed to just flush to the left as it is right now? I could say then that the text align colon would be centered, semicolon to end the line, and my line then moves to the center of the page. Once again, this is only happening within the H1, not in the P. That's what's very specific and important about CSS, is that it allows you to change the look of your page in separate elements throughout the whole thing. So this is going to be very important once we move on to working on larger projects, especially the one that's coming up in the next few days for the end of the class. You're going to be styling pages so that things change and move and are different, but always in your control. You don't have to turn in anything for this. This was just a demonstration of what you can do with CSS and HTML. I'm going to change that red color just to black. It understands most of the colors. There's many names for colors, and more importantly, there's lots of codes in numbers for colors. These are just samples, and I hope that this sort of introduces you to what's going to be happening with CSS.